Hello everybody, welcome back to CCSabers. I just gotta let you guys know that there is something different within this video. You gotta just figure it out for yourself and comment down below what it is, and it's just gonna be a good time. And if you get it right, I'm gonna personally, with my own account, going to comment back to you guys because we want to change up the engagement here. But let's move on from that and talk about this beautiful 89 Maul saber. Currently, it's in its together form, but these are two separate sabers that you can put into one. But I'm going to explain everything in the box first. So you have your gloves, you have your display stand, you also have your battery charger, your blade, and your blade plugs, and of course the hard case and the hilt. But that is pretty much it. Let's take a look at the saber. I'm really excited for it. So now that we have this beautiful saber here, I'm just gonna turn on really quickly from both ends here. Wait, I turned one off, but here it is together, and here is it with the blade plugs in on either side. But it's just super, just sleek, clean, simple. And there are like these little buttons on all of the sabers here, and even the connecting piece. So you have one on the bottom, you have one on the top, and then same with these other ones here. I gotta quickly mention these two sets of buttons here don't really do anything. So like, I'm trying to hit it, nothing happens. They're just screws to put the connecting piece in the center here. But these two buttons here turn it on and off, and then you have the aux buttons here. But now I'm going to show you how we put the two end pieces here. They have these little crystals on the end on the pommel here. But I just think it's like a really cool feature to have these as like separate pieces, which they come with, by the way. When you open up your saber, these are going to be on the end of it. And then the connecting piece is in your box, in your hard case. But we're just gonna put these on. So all you gotta do is remove these 4 screws here. So I'm gonna remove them quickly. And putting them back on is a little bit difficult. And I'm gonna explain why once we get these two end pieces on. But just taking this off is super easy. That's another reason why I love this one so much. But all you gotta do is just take this piece here, pretty much similar to the connecting piece. All you gotta do is line it up with these screws here, these holes here. So yeah, all you gotta do is line it up. And then once it's lined up, make sure both sets are also lined up, because then it's going to be easier to screw in. Now I'm going to set it back down on the table because it's a little bit difficult. So you'll have your screw, and sometimes you're like, why isn't it not threading properly? You just gotta make sure that it's lined up, and then twist. This one's always been giving me a hard time. Off camera, I mean, but it's like, yeah, see? Even I'm having difficulty with it. But all you gotta do is line it up and tighten it. And then we got one done. And then pretty much, I'm gonna snap my fingers, but this one will be done. Okay, so now we have both sabers together. I also forgot to mention, like, going over the details. One has a belt wheel clamp here, and then the other does not. So this is like more like if you just want to have one on display, if you're cosplaying, or if you're doing like a LARP or like combat and you just want to have one on your side and then the other not. It's gonna be this one. But just this detail here. We also have like a couple other Maul sabers, but I prefer this one because, again, I can rub my fingers on it and not get any fingerprints. I do not see any fingerprints on this bad boy, so that's another reason why I like it. but it's just like so cool with these gaps on the emitter. And just as we move down, it's just so pretty. Like, I will keep saying this for this one, but it's just so pretty. But we also have like these rubber band type clips, rubber band type spacers here on the emitter and on the towards the pommel, which I think is like a cool little detail to point out. But I'm going to show you next how to get to the chassis, and then going to explain, if this is your first time owning a Saber and this is the first one you want to buy, I'm going to explain the chassis a little bit and the insides on how it works. And then we're going to put some blades in individually and then also put together to show you some of the functions as well. So now I'm going to show you how to get into the chassis. So all you gotta do, pretty much similar to how you can remove the connecting piece here, all you gotta do is just remove the 2 screws at the pommel. I'm gonna just hold this towards our table here, but once the screws are off, all you gotta do is just pull. And then you'll see this little bar here. It's a little bit difficult to get out, so I'm gonna use a hex key here. I strongly not recommending it, but it can get stuck. So if you're going to use a thin hex key to get it out. And then all you gotta do is line up here. So line your hex key up and then pull to get the chassis out. So now that the chassis is out, we have the chassis as a whole. So you have your rechargeable battery, your V3 Profi board, and your kill switch to turn on and off.
I have been waiting.
And then you have your power and aux button here. And then you have your connecting piece to the emitter and some lights on the bottom for the pommel for this pommel as well. So once it is connected, you can see the lights going off for this one. But yeah, that is the inside at the chassis. I'm going to show you how to put it in, especially if it's your first time. We're going to have this connecting piece on the inside. It is quite dark. You're not going to be able to see it no matter how many times we try to shine the lights onto it. But there is going to be one of these connecting pieces in here that does not have a brass pin inside of it. And then you're going to take the empty one here and line it up with the non-brass one. And it's fairly easy once you get the hang of it. All you gotta do is just push and then it is in. So now it's connected, and then all you gotta do is align your pommel or your connecting piece to the screw holes like I mentioned earlier and screw on both screw buttons. But other than that, that is how you put it in, and now it works. Make sure to test to see if the chassis is connected, because if you see some of my videos, there will be times where I don't connect the chassis all the way. But just always make sure to turn on your chassis once you feel like it's strongly connected. But that is pretty much it for this one. Now let's put some blades in both of these and then connect them into one. So now I'm going to show you how to put the blade into the hilt. I gotta let you guys know, we couldn't find a second blade that could fit properly. At least I couldn't. So we're just gonna do one, and then we're gonna show the motion control and some of the features with just one, and then I'm gonna show you again with both, just without blades. I know it sucks, but that's just how we have to roll for now. But we have our hilts, we have our hex key, and we have our blade here. So all we gotta do, there's going to be one screw at the top of the emitter. It's so itty bitty tiny. My finger is right over it, but it's right there. All you gotta do is just loosen it up like so. So once it's loosened, you can take your blade here and just be careful when putting it in. Make sure it has good pressure, but not enough to damage the pings. Just push lightly and then tighten. Boom. is tightened, and just turn it on to see if it works, like so. And now I'm going to move some stuff around because we need some space for the saber to show off the motion control. So you heard that right. One, there's motion control for this saber. So to turn on and off, you just go right, left. There we go. So you just move your wrist like so to turn off and to turn on, or you can use the button if you prefer. But there's also smooth swing, and so you can spin your saber. And again, this one's really light, so like it actually feels like there's nothing in your hand, which can be good and bad if you want to spin. But I prefer it this way because it's lighter and it fits good in my hand. But I just personally like lighter sabers. But it's light, especially if, again, this is your first saber and you're like, I don't really want like a super heavy one. You can just slowly move up. So I think this is a very good starter saber personally. But there's also clash effect just by hitting the hilt, and blast deflection as well, so you can see it on screen. And then we're gonna just turn off for a quick second. You can change the presets. There's like roughly 15 to 20. So I'm just gonna skip a couple and then just turn it on like so. But if you have epilepsy, I suggest not using like the ones that contain like flashing. So like the flashing back and forth like this one. But you can also just have some still ones as well. There's a lot of presets that are just still, but it's just super light. I'm just gonna spin this more because I just love how it feels in my hand. But now I'm going to take this blade out and then show you what it looks like with both together. So now that we have this saber all connected once again, I'm just gonna show you the features while we have both on here. But we have the smooth swing like so. It's just, I really wish we have two blades, but this is just how we work. You have the clash effect on either side, and then you have the blast deflection, which I think is like gonna be really cool to duel with here when you have these two together. But it's just overall such an amazing saber. And if you like the saber and you want one, please check out our website down below because we will have this on there. And also some of my sabers that you will like to have in your collection. So don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, comment how many times you see this particular thing that we've hidden in our video. And yeah, I'll see you guys in another video. Bye bye!